my name is Punk. This is my first stream. I'm going to remap the buttons a bit just because this is what I like to play with. I like the dash on L just because it makes things a lot easier. On A, it's a little hard just to get to the A button because most of your time your buttons are going to be on Y and B, and then A is just the third button, which is off in the corner. And yeah, I grew up playing this game. I'm playing it on the Super NES Mini right now. And the thing about that is the the controller just feels different. I don't know if it's just because the buttons are still fresh. They're not worn in like they are in my original Super Nintendo, but it does present its problems here and there. There are times in this game when I'm just not going to be able, or I'm going to take damage or probably even die because the controller messed me up. I'm not blaming it on the controller, but it does feel different at times, and I have noticed a difference between the original hardware and the Super NES Mini. So, after this little cutscene, I guess we'll get started. So if you don't know the story, basically, Dr. Light, the creator of Mega Man, the original Mega Man, he created Megaman X, but X would never be ready in Dr. Light's lifetime, so he kind of let his computer take over and create Mega Man X after he had passed away. So that's what we're playing as. This isn't the original Mega Man, this is a new model. I think he's a full Reploid. I think that's what he is. So I don't think I don't know if he ever was human or not. And I like to play this game at my own pace. I'm not a speedrunner. I don't use speedrunning tactics. I have seen a few speedruns of this game, but I don't know. I just like playing it the way I like to play it. I grew up on this game, so I have a little sentimentality and nostalgia for this game. And I'm going to be doing a Buster only run, or Buster main run, just because I know Mega Man games, you're supposed to use the boss weapons against each other, because if you don't know, bosses are weak to other boss weapons, and it's kind of like a Pokemon thing where you gotta find whose weakness is whose. But growing up, my brother, like, I remember the first time I beat this game, I used a bunch of boss weapons, and my brother, I don't know if he was just like upset that I beat it, because it took him a while to beat it. He was older than me when he beat it, and I was a little kid, and I beat this hard-ass game called Mega Man X. And so he kind of like told me, you didn't really beat it unless you can do it with only the X Buster. And so I learned how to beat this game using only the X Buster. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. So for here, you just need to destroy 2 cars completely, and Vile shows up. And this fight with Vile is unwinnable, but I always like to try and do as much damage as I can. It's futile, I know, but like I said, I just like playing this game this way, because like his pattern is a little different. It's not consistent. he does change it up like that. Like, I couldn't avoid that. There are times when I just have to jump as soon as I land, like there, there, there. Like, this is doing no damage to him. You can die in this fight, but I don't know. It's just fun doing as much damage as I can before I get basically immobilized. Yeah, I think people have tried to beat him here. Like, they even hacked the game, and it's just not possible. I think even if you did, I think maybe the game would freeze. And this is the introduction of Zero. This is Megaman X's first game, and this is Zero's first game, I believe. And Zero became a quick fan favorite just because he's so overpowered from the start. Like, he basically took care of Vile with one shot. I would say I softened him up, but no. He just destroyed him, destroyed his arm with one shot. So, yeah, like, even I like Zero. I don't know if it was the long hair or what, but yeah, he's pretty cool. And he believes in us. He thinks we can do it. So everyone has their own way to do the bosses. Most people do Chill Penguin first, just because that's where you get the dash boots. Like, it's unmissable. You can't progress through the level until you get the dash boots. And yeah, I have done runs where I don't start with Chill Penguin, and it can be challenging. Some of the stages, not all of them. But yeah, the dash boots are kind of essential in this game. Like in the original Mega Man, you had Rush help you out, and I think he did have a dash at one point. Yeah, he had a dash, but it's different than this dash. Jump is always hard. Alright, so this is how Dr. Light talks to you basically from beyond the grave. Because I think this is 100 years from Dr. Light's time. I don't know if that's before or after he died, but he had the foresight to create these machines to upgrade X's suit. Because, like, he thought by this time the world had become a world of peace, but that didn't work out that way. I think this was the first Mega Man game I ever played. I didn't play any of the Nintendo Mega Mans, because my brother never got any of them. So this was my introduction to Mega Man. If you didn't know, that there's actually two ways that you can use the dash boots. There's a button that you map to it, which I chose the L. But if you just push forward, you dash. And you can set how far you dash by how long you hold the button. But it's a little harder, in my opinion. Which is why I like using L to dash. chill penguin. Like I said, I'm gonna do mainly a buster run. I'm not gonna be using boss weapons against other bosses just because I know the boss patterns well enough that I don't need that. I don't need the help of making the fight any easier than it already is. I mean, the fight isn't that easy, but it's just knowing the patterns, knowing what the boss is gonna do, knowing when to get out of the way, when you can attack, when you can't. And like, I find the Mega Man X series a little easier than the Mega Man series. Like, I have played those games since, and just learning the boss patterns is hard. Alright, so now we get the shotgun ice. So next we're going to do Storm Eagle. Storm Eagle's usually most people's second choice. He's pretty easy, especially now that we have the dash boots. He's not that hard at all. But we get 3 upgrades in this level, which I think you can get at least 2 of them without the dash boots, but this one you need the dash boots because otherwise you wouldn't make this jump. I barely made it and I was at the top using a dash. So I got a heart. Now this is where you get the sub tank. Usually I just go around and kill him from the back, but I don't know, it seems faster this way. Ooh. See, that time I almost died because of the controller. There's the life down there that I can get, but I don't want to waste my time because I need to get this upgrade, and it's about the same thing. It's just longer, and I'm hanging off a cliff doing this for a while. So this is gonna give me a helmet. It does protect me from falling objects, but there's not many places in the game where falling objects are a hazard. But with this, there are a few places where I can get upgrades or open up areas. And with this, actually, I'm gonna open up the next area and the next level. Just get that light. Alright, we're at Storm Eagle. So I always thought his ship was like a marlin, like a flying marlin. I don't know if it is, but that's what I think of when I see that fin, that busted up fin behind us right now. Yeah, see, without the dash boots, I would be knocked back a bit more than I am now. But with the dash boots, I don't really get knocked back too far. I can prepare for that. See, without the dash, I'd be getting knocked back. And you can hit him while he's diving, but I just choose not to because I used to do hitless runs, or try to do hitless runs. I don't know if I actually ever succeeded in doing a 100% hitless, but it was just a fun challenge because I knew this game pretty well. Like, I know where every enemy is going to be, I know what triggers every enemy, so it was always just a fun challenge. There we have Storm Eagle. Yeah, like with the boss weapons, he kind of becomes a joke. I mean, more of a joke than he already is, because, like I said, he's not that hard. You only really have to avoid falling off the stage and getting hit, I guess, but yeah, now we got Storm Tornado. And back in the day, this was actually one of my favorite uh, like weapons to equip, because it was a big area that his shot goes, and it just kills a lot. It kills a lot of big enemies like faster than just the Buster, but yeah. And so this area would normally be lava, but because we beat Chill Penguin, because we beat him, his stage actually affected this stage. And so now everything's all frozen. So all this would be lava. And here's where I get the next upgrade. And if I mess this up, I have to start the level all over again. Because if I get up here and fall, then like, oh, that was close. Yeah, see, this controller is really messing me up. Yep, I have to start the level over because I can't get back up there. And I can't exit. Ugh. Okay, we'll continue on, I guess. I'll continue without that upgrade. And normally I couldn't get this hard because all this would be lava. And in order to fill the sub-tanks, I need to be full power and get more power. Those blue orbs fill up my boss weapons, but those other capsules fill up my health, and when I have full health, they fill up my sub-tank. So this is the next sub-tank that I'm gonna get. Now I have a full sub-tank. That sound that you heard was the sub-tank saying that it's full. Yeah, normally the stage is a little harder because of all the lava, but Chill Penguin kinda took care of that. Normally by now I'd have the X Buster upgrade, but because I don't have it, it makes fighting these guys a little harder. Now we're at Flame Mammoth. So he's pretty easy. If you get under him at the right angle, you don't have to worry too much. You just have to worry about him stomping. Yeah, you just have to find the sweet spot. Yeah, see, I can just stay here now and just shoot him. Those red thing that he just threw was oil, and if he shoots them with his fireball, they become a flame. Oh, I might die. I gotta be careful. Okay. That was Flame Mammoth. I'm gonna re-enter the stage just so I can get that upgrade that I missed. And then I'll exit real quick. But with that, I get the fire wave. It's a pretty short range attack, but once I get the upgrade, it kind of crawls along the floor. So let's go back in there. Why is this so hard? Oh, come on, get up there, get up! Yeah, okay, got it. So this is an upgrade to my X Buster. Normally, if you don't get this, Zero gives you an upgraded X Buster later on. But because we're getting this right now, Zero's not going to give us that X Buster later. And if you notice, when X shoots, he now has like an orange Buster. So usually that would be blue, but now it's orange or red. Now I can charge up 3 times. That's it. Now I'm gonna go back to Chill Penguin stage because now we can get a heart that we missed, that we couldn't get to without Flame Mammoth's weapon. Oh, I'm getting hit quite a bit. Alright, I might actually fill up my sub tank, my second one. Alright, so now we can go up here. And if we equip this, we'll get that. And here's the heart. Alright, now we can exit. So the next stage I'm going to do is Armored Armadillo. I kind of do them in this order because I can get the sub-tanks. The sub-tanks take time to fill, and I used to do these bosses in a different order, but now I kind of do them based on how fast I can get the sub-tanks. Oh, that was not supposed to happen. But this guy, that bat that you just saw was in reference to the original Mega Man, because it looked a little different. And usually it drops a 1-up, a life, but for some reason it didn't drop anything. Alright, so now we get another sub-tank, and that guy is a 1-hit kill, so if I would have gotten hit by those, whatever they are, the arms, I would have been dead. And see, that was because I pressed forward twice. Because I run fast enough that I can catch up to him. And because of that, I have to slow down. And when I slow down, I kind of want to catch up again. So I just filled another sub-tank, if you heard that noise. getting up here quick is the best way to not take damage, but I just did. Yeah, there's a lot of slowdown in this area just because you're going so fast. And here, I'm going to charge up. I should be able to kill him before he gets the heart, hopefully. Nope. And I just messed that up. So I will be coming back here. That's fine. I need to come back here anyways. Just have to remember that. Because there's actually a really well hidden secret that I didn't know about for a long time up here. But I can't do that until I get all the upgrades. So Armored Armadillo gives a lot of people a hard time, but it's memorizing the patterns, knowing where his roll's gonna go, like when it's gonna stop. It's always random where he's gonna stop, but it's all a matter of being in the right position. And so he's pretty annoying because he does block a lot, and he does this when you do shoot a charge shot most of the time. But you can get a free charge shot when he finishes rolling most of the time. And then this part is just trading shots basically. Yeah, see, it's just knowing the pattern of where he's going. Here I'm just gonna keep pushing him back until he starts shooting his little head projectile. Now he's back to his side. So now it's just back to trading shots. It doesn't really matter which side he ends up on. I obviously prefer the left side just because that's where you start and that's where most of the shots come from. But it's pretty easy either way. Okay, and with that we get the rolling shield. It turns pink. Alright, so next I'm gonna do Spark Mandrill. And because we did Storm Eagle stage and beat Storm Eagle, that actually affects the stage. I didn't really realize this for a long time, but those parts that you see behind me are Storm Eagle's ship. And because we beat him, the electricity is a little off. Normally it would do this, but it would do this differently, like at different intervals and in different areas. And I believe there would also be... Oh wait, I can't do this yet. Yeah, I messed up. I was supposed to do Boomer Quanger next, actually, because I need his boss weapon to be able to get the sub-tank in here. That's fine. We'll do him next. Yeah, and getting that... Oh! Wow, that was all my fault. Yeah, so normally I think there would be like electricity running along these glass tubes, but because we beat Storm Eagle, they're no longer going. I believe that's what happens. tried to do that, but I fell down the hole. And then this boss, normally he would be shooting electricity right here, but again, we beat Storm Eagle, so that doesn't happen now. And this is a mid-stage boss. The only thing annoying is you don't really know how much energy he has. It's just about you keep shooting him, and he has these bubbles that you get stuck to. Yeah. See, with electricity, it would make this fight a little bit more difficult, just because you'd have to time it a little bit more to go under him. But it's not too difficult. Alright, so I filled up another sub-tank. Oh. Yeah, this one, it's a little hard on this controller. Again, because it just doesn't feel the same as an original Super Nintendo controller. But still managed to do it pretty easily. I got this bee thing, moon bee, whatever that is. Got another one coming up. There it is. We got one more right here, and one more right there. Yeah, see, I'm not collecting any energy for the sub-tank now, which means all my sub-tanks are full. And here we have Spark Mandrill. So with this boss, if we use the Chill Penguin's weapon, the ice, it makes him a joke. But because we're not using it, he is kind of tough. Like, I might even die just because I'm out of practice. I just gotta make sure he doesn't come at me like that. But he does. And he actually does a lot of damage when he punches you like that. Alright, let's try that one more time. Oh, and I missed. Yeah, so it's that punch that you really want to look out for. Usually he does it first, but he can do it whenever he wants. And there's Spark Mandrill. Yeah, see, I didn't take any damage that time just because I got practice in that first run when I died. Like, it's kind of like riding a bike. You always forget, or you never forget. You just have to get back on the bike. So now I got the electric spark. With the powered up part, that electric spark actually becomes pretty screen clear. Doesn't clear the whole screen, but it clears a good part of the screen. Alright, so now we need this. We need his boss weapon. I don't think his stage is affected by any of the other bosses. It's just a big giant tower. Yeah, this level is pretty vertical. And if we trip any of these red lines, these guys will shoot at us, but you can avoid it pretty easily, like right here. Yeah. Just have to know how to dodge. And with these guys, you can actually kill them with one shot if you charge up to the purple shot and stand real close to them, because when you fire the purple shot, you actually create a little sphere around yourself, and that does extra damage to them if they're in that sphere. So it actually protects you from back shots. Like you form a sphere for like a brief second. Oh, I got away with that one. Now climb outside. So usually I would take my time and kill all these guys, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Like this one I kind of have to kill because he's gonna knock me down if I don't. So here I'm gonna use Penguin's powered up weapon just because I found out that you can do this, which makes it so much easier because you don't have to backtrack through the stage. Because usually I would get that heart with Boomer Quanger, this boss's stage's weapon, but then that means you have to climb back up the tower all the way up to here. But then I found out, oh, you can do it with the powered up ice, and it just makes things a lot easier. Yeah, usually I take my time because this area is just, any time that anyone can knock you down, it's just a pain. Because a lot of the enemies do respawn, so it's better to take your time, go slow, and just do it right. Boomer Cranger's not too hard of a boss. He does do this dash and he disappears, and if he gets his horns into you, he'll throw you to the ceiling, which isn't fun. Usually I would be up on the wall just waiting for him to come back, but I've learned to just fight him. Yeah, see, he would have thrown me up had he gotten me. Yeah, it's just a lot easier to fight him. It's a lot more fun. It's more of a challenge, I guess. But you could really just have fun trying to predict him. Because he does have a second where he can pop up on you, but if you dash out fast enough, you won't get hit. And I have plenty of energy now to be able to take a lot of those hits. And with this, we get the Boomerang Cutter. And those do come back to you, and you don't use up any energy. But after a while, the energy does start to deplete, so you get diminishing returns. And I'm just popping back into the stage so I can get the last sub-tank. You can get up to 4 sub-tanks, and this is number 4 in this stage. So you do need to kill this guy first, because otherwise you won't be able to get this sub-tank right here. Because you gotta jump. Alright, and that's it. Now we have 4 sub-tanks, 3 of them are already full. So the next boss I like to do is Launch Octopus, because beating him will affect Sting Chameleon's stage. Sting Chameleon is usually the last boss I do now. It used to be Spark Madrigal, believe it or not, but like I said, I changed once I figured out that it's best to get the sub-tanks early on as opposed to later on. Just because they do take time to fill up. this one, this enemy, this mini boss, this mid boss, whatever, is kind of easy, but yeah, those things, those snake things kind of suck. And then you do fight, you fight that mini boss again later on in this level, but it's a lot less fun. And these fish don't do any damage to you initially, but if you stay in their mouth, they will do damage. See right here, this guy, this one, it sucks because you're on a small platform and you can't really move the way you want to move, and all he likes to do is suck. And so you gotta jump right. Alright. So these things create tornadoes or whirlpools that let you get up higher. Now my last sub tank is filled. It was that easy. And like I can use a lot of different boss weapons to get this down faster, but like I said, I just like doing a buster run. If I don't need to use a boss weapon, I don't want to use a boss weapon. There's certain times when you have to. And this guy only takes damage when he's going straight. Once he starts to turn, he takes no damage, I believe. And you have to get him right on the head or right on the tail. And almost maxed out on hearts. Only need one more heart upgrade, I believe. Alright, so we gotta fight this guy again. This time he's easier because there's nothing, no spikes to kill us. But yeah. Oh, no energy. Alright. Launch Octopus is a little difficult. It was very challenging as a kid. Mainly because of his projectiles. They have a pretty wide spread and they come at you pretty fast. But he's not too bad. And then you can actually cut off his arms to prevent him from doing this attack. If he catches you, he will drain your life, and he will drain it until you no longer have life. Well, he'll drain you until he's full, and if he has enough life to drain all of your life, he will do it. So that's the only thing you gotta watch out for. Which, without the dash boots, he's still not that bad. You can outrun it, but it's just a lot easier with the dash boots. See, I'm just holding it. And that is Launch Octopus. This we get the homing torpedo. Alright, last we're gonna do Sting Chameleon. So because we did Launch Octopus, now his stage is a little watery. It's not underwater, but there's a lot of water. And with this water, it actually allows us to get the, or I guess I would say the final heart, but I missed the one in Armored Armadillo stage, so not quite the last one. So without this would be, you can do it without it, but it's just harder. And getting back would be a little hard too. And up here is the final upgrade. But first, first we need to kill this guy. And he's not too bad. His only weak spot is his eye on top of his head. And if you keep your distance, you should be fine. It's a little slow, but it's not too bad. And because we're gonna beat him, the area below will no longer drop like bricks on your head, which is where the helmet would come in handy. You could actually walk around that area freely, even with the bricks dropping down on your head, because they would do no damage because of the helmet. But that's not going to be a problem at all, because we're going to take care of this boss, who I believe is the one causing the bricks to fall. Yeah, see, he hasn't even thrown his arms at me yet. He's already steaming. Let me have him throw his arms at me. Yeah. So with this upgrade, I'm going to get a shield, or I guess body armor. It's going to reduce the damage by 50%. And now, X is fully upgraded, quote unquote. Alright, so normally bricks would be falling down on my head while I go through here, but they are no longer falling. And I can actually avoid most of these, basically everyone. It's just getting the timing down to jump over them is a little hard on this controller. Like, I've actually gone back and played Megaman X on the original Super Nintendo with the original controller, and I honestly don't know why it's so different. It is. It's very different. Right, now we got Sting Chameleon. He's not too bad, but when I did do hitless runs, he was one of the bosses that I had trouble not getting hit with. Just because when he does that like spike drop pattern, it's very random. This thing, like, yeah, it's all over the place. It's kind of hard to predict. He does have some tells of what he's going to do next. Like when you see his sprite stop moving like that, that means he's coming at you. So you can actually make him jump down and do a corner stinger, do that like spike drop that he does. If you just avoid him. If you see him moving, that just means he's getting in the corner to do this Sting Chameleon. You can't hit him when he's invisible. See, like, I can manipulate him to do that if I want. Like, most of the time he does that spike drop. There are times when he does go to the corner and does that chameleon sting, but not often. Like that, he just did that. And I only have one shot left, so let's take that last shot. And with this, I get the sting chameleon. Or chameleon sting. Alright, now I've beaten all the bosses, so I get a little cutscene with Zero. So he's telling me that he found Sigma's fortress. But before I go to Sigma's fortress, I gotta get one more thing. You go back to Armored Armadillos, get the heart, and one more thing. So I already got the sub tank in this level, so I don't need to worry about that. So imagine being a little kid trying to figure all this out. How many times I had to play this game to get to this kind of level. And this time I'm actually going to use this weapon because it just does constant damage and it kills them that quickly. Which I need because now I can get the heart, the final heart piece. And so this I didn't know was real for the longest time, but if you collect that and jump off, I think it's like 4 or 5 times, you get a very special surprise. And I've heard you have to have full life when you reach that area. I'm not too sure. I can't really say yes or no, but it's hard to test because you don't want to die too many times reaching that area without full life. And like, who would think to do this? Like, I think this actually, people thought this was an April Fool's joke back in the day, or some kind of joke, because I think it was told in Nintendo Power, and Nintendo Power is known to play jokes on April Fools. I think one more should do. There it is. The secret upgrade. And you can see Dr. Light's kind of just like Ryu from Street Fighter. So it gives you a special secret upgrade. Once you have everything, all the upgrades, all the hard tanks, all the sub tanks, you get the Hadouken. But you can only do this when your life is full. So if you get hit at all, you can no longer use the Hadouken. So now let's go beat Sigma. So I like to play this part pretty slowly just because I like to conserve as much energy as I can. Like I used to use Sting Chameleon's powered up attack, which turns you invisible and just you can just go through this area no problem. But I don't know, there's something about just taking your time playing this game that's still fun. These platforms, I think they go in a random like way, but because I play this the same way every time, it doesn't feel random to me. Like I know exactly where each platform is going to be, so I don't even have to think about it. I know if I mess up, then that's when it becomes a problem because I'm just like, where's the next platform? Oh man, this guy, killing this guy is kind of easy. Alright, there's Vile. There's Zero. Even Zero's dash is cooler than X's. He's got like cool dash flames coming out. And again, this is an unwinnable scenario. You can't beat Vile when he's in the mech suit, but I still like to give it my all. Now I have more power, but it's still the same thing. It just makes me... That's kind of why X does what he does. He believes he can do it no matter what the odds are, and in this case the odds are very stacked against you. And I like the animation of X breathing heavy when he's low on power. It's just an added bonus that they didn't need to add. And this was always cool, is seeing Zero break out. Then he powers up and he blows up the mech. And you can see him fly off the back there before it turns to white. So now we can defeat Vile because he's no longer in the mech. So Vile's kind of a challenge because I haven't gotten his moves 100% down. I can avoid almost anything, but this was one of the bosses that when I tried to do hitless runs, he would be a challenge. Yeah, see. Especially since I haven't played this game, he's still kind of a challenge. Killed him off screen, or at the corner of the screen. So I usually like to walk over to 0, just because it's a little more dramatic. This part, as a kid, I didn't quite understand, but I knew that 0 was no longer going to be a part of the story. And usually he would give you his X Buster, or you would take it from him and you'd power up. X would usually do this. And now you have 0's X Buster, but because we got the upgrade, it's not technically 0's X Buster. This part, when the completionist did his video on Megaman X, he said that this is where you learn how to use the Sting Chameleon's power up, but you don't really need to if you know the patterns of all the respawning enemies. Yeah, see, it is a challenge, but it's actually not as hard, it's just I'm out of practice. So I'm actually gaining life right now. I'm in a net gain when it comes to life. And you just want to take this part slow. Like I think I explained earlier that when you use this powered up shot, you kind of create a shield around yourself. So you kind of use that to your advantage. And I think I'm going to start using the boss weapons on these guys just because it makes it... Wait, yeah, his is the missiles. Just because you don't... Yeah, so when you use boss weapons, every boss has a weakness. If you've played any Megaman game, then you probably already know that. But because I don't use the boss weapons on bosses, I might forget who's weak to what, just because I don't use them. So now we got the Sigma special bosses. So this is just a matter of how fast can you determine where this boss is going to go. He's going to cross every single cross that he can. So as long as you're in a place where he's not going to be, you should be fine. It's just a matter of, can you figure it out fast enough before the spider gets down to you. Yeah, see, at that time I was too busy with the baby spiders that I didn't figure it out. It gets faster and faster. Oh. Yeah, it's easy when it's like that, so you don't even have to think about it too much. gonna be close. Okay, it's getting in faster. One more hit. There it is. Alright, so the Sigma icon doesn't change, but the stage changes. I don't know why I tried to go for that. I don't need it. No! That was a little bit on me, a little bit on the controller. Alright, so this is Armored Armadillo stage, I believe. No, Chill Penguin. So with Chill Penguin, we're going to use Flame Mammoth. And it doesn't completely take him out, but it makes his fight a little easier. And he does steal up like that when he's about to dash, so you can't use it there. But kind of stun lock him. This is like the mech gauntlet, because you have to go so far in a mech, and if you take enough damage, your mech gets destroyed. I think if your mech gets destroyed, or these guys aren't in the mechs initially, so you can kill them and get a new mech, but if you make it to the end, it's not bad. Then pick your side. I like to pick this side just because it's slow going and you can rest on these. You don't have to worry about respawning those guys because you don't really fall. His weakness is, yeah, Sting Chameleon. Got to see little birdies. This part, I would usually use the Sting Chameleon, but it's fine either way. You can take a hit and then do it again. Now we're to the second Sigma boss, which you can do this a little out of order. There's 3 hit points, 2 eyes, and that middle part, but you can only hit the middle part when it activates. Like here, this is the only time you can hit it. but after a certain while, these eyes will pop. And there's one. Once they pop, this guy activates. But if you actually beat that middle part first, because that middle part can pop too, the stage stays closed, and you have to fight the eyeballs with the stage closed like this, which is a lot more challenging. So it's best to try to take care of these eyeballs. But now the stage stays like this until I beat him. And if you drop down, there would be spikes there, but because I beat him, the spikes just pop. Right, and I think the rest of the bosses are in this stage, which is fine. It goes from 1 boss to 2 bosses to, I think, 4 bosses. And his weakness is electric spark. So he loses his protective shield, and now he can always get hit. And it becomes pretty easy without a shield. Here's another boss, a quick corridor. And now we got Stink Chameleon. And his weakness is Boomer Coanger, the boomerang, I believe. And you can kind of stun lock him. All you have to do is that, and he's done. 2 bosses down already. Alright, this boss, Spark Mantle, becomes kind of a joke because he's the epitome of being stun locked, and you don't really even have to aim at him. You can bounce this off the wall and still hit him. Like, he literally becomes stun locked. I didn't even have to aim at him. And the term Spark Mandrill Syndrome, believe it or not, came from the Completionist. He's credited as being the creator of Spark Mandrill Syndrome, about a boss that basically gets stun locked until you beat him, like Spark Mandrill. So he actually has 2 weaknesses, believe it or not. First one, you can cut off his arms, Now his arms are gone, and this is his true weakness. Yeah, I don't like using the boss weapons too much, but just to make things a little easier, I'm using them. And here, I can stand on spikes if I use Sting Chameleons. And this is the final boss, or regular boss, of this area, Flame Mammoth. And his weakness is Storm Eagle, the tornado. And all these bosses, these Sigma bosses have weaknesses, but I just like fighting them with the Buster just because this is the first time I'm fighting them. It's kind of cheap to use tricks. Only the top part takes damage, if you haven't noticed. And that's the last Sigma boss. And I remember as a kid, getting here was really hard. And the only reason those wormholes exist is to refill on energy so that you can get your sub tank full in case you use them and die. Because this is quite a difficult final boss. And as a kid, it's even more difficult. So I got to this boss plenty of times, killing everything with the weapons, with the boss weapons, but my brother said no, you gotta do it with the X-Buster only, so that's what I did. So I'm gonna kill these bosses with the X-Buster only. I'm pretty out of practice because normally Sigma's pup wouldn't even touch me. Beating him the way I beat him really takes it out of my fingers because I basically just hugged the wall, dropped down and fired once or twice. There are other ways to beat him, but this is the way I learned how to beat him because I was a kid when I beat him. And that's 1 pixel, so I have to do that several times. this is where this controller, the Super NES Mini controller, really shows itself to be different from the original Super Nintendo controller, because just hugging that wall all the way up to the top is challenging when compared to the OG controller. It's just a different feel to it. So see, beating him this way, it takes a while, obviously, but I'm not getting hit. As long as you keep doing this, you don't get hit. And if you can beat Sigma, a pretty hard boss to begin with, without getting hit, that's a win in my book. So this is a strategy I developed on how to beat Sigma when I was a kid, and I still use it to this day because it's simple, it's effective, and it just takes patience. That's all it is, just patience. Take your time, one pixel at a time. See, he's already below half health, which is fine. My fingers are getting a little tired on this controller. Normally they'd be fine on the original controller. But see, if you drop down at the right time, he kind of goes back to that same corner and he does the same pattern. If you drop down earlier, then he might drop down in the middle of the stage and do a different pattern. But because I'm in the corner and I'm dropping down like right there, right when he's beneath me, he drops down into that same corner. He changes, his landing changes slightly, but not enough to deviate him from where he's gonna continue with his pattern. So his pattern stays the exact same the whole time, unless I drop down early. If I get hit, if I stay up too long, he'll actually continue going up. So with that, that is Sigma. So it didn't take that long, it's just patience. And now we have the second stage. And again, this takes patience. You can kind of cheese this boss, but you probably will get knocked down every now and then. Like, you can stay up here almost indefinitely. I would say indefinitely. But those hands really mess you up from time to time, because both hands will go to you at that time. So you have to know which hand is going to remain after you and avoid that hand if it's going to mess up. Yeah, see, I got knocked down. And I'm actually going to use a sub-tank right now, just so I don't die. And you can actually use the Armored Armadillo's weapon, the Rolling Shield. But again, this is how I learned how to beat this boss when I was a kid, and I still use it. I might have to use another sub-tank. Yeah, so the Rolling Shield can do damage, but the only way to do damage with the X-Buster is to charge it fully up. Oh, that was not supposed to happen. Alright, so this time shouldn't get hit by the dog, by Sigma's dog. Or his pup, his wolf pup. Let's just skip all this. So again, the pup is pretty easy. You just have to avoid a lot of his attacks. So I took a little more damage, but that's fine. So this is where patience is a virtue. Even though I already did this, I can do it again. Take no damage, I don't have to use any sub-tanks until I get to the final boss. I think I want to say my sister was actually the one that thought of this strategy. Back in the day, she could actually do this, play this game, beat this game like me, because we would play the same games. We had the same console, obviously. And so she learned platformers pretty well, just like me. She stopped playing games as much as I did, but she still plays them. But we actually tried to play Donkey Kong Country on the Switch Online, and she didn't want to play because I was too good at it. And she actually used to be better at it than me because she had the Game Boy version that was a direct port, and she knew a lot of the secrets in that game. So I think she came up with this strategy of just hugging the corner and waiting for him to get in the right spot. I think I kind of perfected of making him land in the same spot, because you have to know when to drop down, how high to let him go. Because if you drop down too early, he might take an angle that hits you on the way down. That he's almost done. And I think just regular shots can do, but I'm just so used to holding down the Y button in these old games that it's just a force of habit. Like I think even the yellow buster, like pellet, is hitting him before the purple wave beam. Alright, let's try this final boss one more time. Yeah, and you really have to wait until that thing gets to the top, otherwise you could miss your shot. And I shot too early there, so I didn't even And again, it's one pellet at a time. Ah, no, I won't use it just yet. No, I will. And believe it or not, I used to stay on the ground and wait for those things to come and get me to take a shot off and only take one shot. But I found this is a little easier. Not exactly easy because that can happen. Alright, so I'm going to try to keep an eye on my life so I don't die again. Because I actually have a file that says I beat this game in like about an hour. So I'm already well over that hour mark. And I'm going to use another sub-tank just because I don't want to die. Yeah, I remember as a kid this boss gave me a lot of trouble. I would go through all four sub-tanks. And if I died after using those 4 sub-tanks, I would probably turn the game off because I did not want to recharge them with those worms at the beginning of the stage. It's just hard, and it really puts a strain on your fingers, especially your thumb. Keeping an eye on my life. I think I could take 1, maybe 2 more hits. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use my last sub-tank. I don't know how long it's been since I did this. Hopefully I don't die. Hopefully I can beat this game. Ah, 2 misses in a row. Yeah, patience is a virtue in this game. There's speed runs and there's long plays. This is like a speed long play. 1 more pixel and that's it. There we go. Oh. Honestly, this scene just reminds me of my brother saying, "You didn't beat it using the X Buster only." Just reminds me of that. So after beating this game using boss weapons, it was all negated by my brother just saying, "You didn't really beat it." I think he was just a little sore that I was able to beat it, and he struggled beating it. long will X have to keep fighting? Maybe only in the X Buster on his hand knows for sure. I remember not knowing how to feel about this ending, because as a kid, you don't quite understand why you feel the way you feel. So this ending was always odd to me. I didn't know how to feel. Like, I like that they name all the enemies, but I wish it was like Donkey Kong, where they show the enemies as they name them. Because I don't know exactly all the enemy names. I don't think I know any of the enemy names because I don't know which one's which. I'm sure I could put most of them to the name, but it's just hard. Kind of that visual disconnection. Like eyeworm, I think eyeworm would be the worm. Yeah, say like this. They have the bosses with names, so that association is there, but with each basic enemy, it's kind of hard to put one and one together. I was Megaman X the whole time. This is the only Mega Man X game I played growing up, so I always thought that was the end of Zero. You never saw him again. I don't know why we never got Mega Man X2 or Mega Man X3, because my brother, my sister, and I all love this game, but I don't know. My brother just didn't get Mega Man X2. I have Mega Man X2 now, but we don't have Mega Man X3. And I would get that game, but it's kind of expensive. And there's other ways to play it now. Like, I think Mega Man X2 is easier than this game. It might just be biased because this game I mastered. So when I played Mega Man X2, it was simple. Yeah, it was simple by comparison because even though I had to learn all the enemy patterns, I got all the upgrades for my first playthrough. And it just didn't leave that much of an impression on me. Like, it's cool that you get to see Zero, but he's not playable. And this was also a surprise. I think I left the game on one time because usually I would turn it off when the credits started rolling. And I left this on and I came back to Sigma and I was just like, what is this? This is different. Alright, and I think it stays on this screen. So I'm gonna reset Super NES Mini. And I can show you. Yeah, Yeah, 1 hour 15, I got to the final boss. So these are the Sigma stages that I just saved. I was able to get there in 51 minutes. Alright, but with that, I think I'm gonna call it. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.